And so I have the right, if I decide that there's anything that I don't feel comfortable about, I can protest. But it should be within certain ambit, in that where my own freedom ends is where your own rights start. So I cannot do that by also inconveniencing anybody around me. And that was what the minister was saying. Yes, he was right. But the question we ask ourselves, these children or these students that are protesting, do they have legitimate reason to protest? And that, to me, should be the question. When last did the Minister of Works and Housing talk about the issues being raised by the students? Yes. The issue of ASU that has been lingering for over 8 months. Isn't that just talking because they went to the roads? That, to me, it doesn't really make so much sense. But the fact remains, to me, as far as I'm concerned, what the student did yesterday, to a large extent, to me, is they didn't really sit down with me. Because there are better ways of pushing whatever agitation you are trying to do. Because when you shut down the expressway, you are also making other people, inconveniencing other people. Already we have a serious problem on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway because of the construction that is going on within the Kara Bridge, the Beggar area, and the rest of them. A few days ago, some people spent over 8 to 10 hours on that stretch of road. 8 to 10 hours. In fact, at the point, we were told that it was up to 16 hours. So that in itself, what I would have expected is that most of the people you are protesting against, they don't fly those roads. They don't. Most of them, they are going flying. They're always flying. It's only poor people like us that fly such roads. I personally, if you seek my counsel, I would have thought that they would have taken those protests to the airports. That's for me personally. If they go to the airport and shut down the airport, it will affect the so-called big men and women. Well, because it's just that ordinary. Their parents, their brothers and sisters who are trying to earn a living on a daily basis that they are trying to. So I think that should be better and strategic way of doing that rather than just blocking the express.
All right, Mr. Paul, is this a case of beating a child and telling it not to cry?
Definitely, yes. I like to look at it that way. It's easier to quote the law. You understand? It's easier to declare what the students did as illegal. But you see, when people are angry, many times they don't think about the law. When you push someone against the wall, and their back is already against the wall, and you are still pushing them, what do you think they will do? They try and push you back. You understand? The strike has lingered for now. The federal government has shamefully allowed the strike to linger this long. It's even gone to the court. The students are the one bearing the brunt directly. A boy was talking to me recently. He said, look, COVID, during the COVID restriction, it lengthened the time I had to stay in school. COVID is gone. The restriction is gone, rather. Now it's strike. We're talking about 7-8 months. So I don't think this is the time for us to be quoting the law. I think the students made a statement. It does not matter to me whether it was on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway or at the airport. They made a statement with their protest. And they got it. Whatever they did was strong enough to get government attention. Yet, yes, it's true. You know, when there are protests, you have let me use within this context, collateral damage. Let me just use it in this context. When NSAS protest happened, roads were also blocked. People couldn't move, who go about their businesses. So that goes with the territory of protest. Once people are aggrieved and they are angry, they won't be thinking of the law at the moment.
Right. The students have said, more of this will come, and it's scary for me because this was the same way NSAS protest started.
Well, there will always be protests as far as I'm concerned. I said that earlier on. And protest is a legitimate means of passing messages. So there's you can't do, in fact, you remember in those days, some years back, the federal government and the police, we tried to stop people from protesting until this issue was taken as far as the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled on it that every Nigerian has the right to protest. In fact, it went further to say that you don't even need a police permit. The best the police will do is to provide officers, men, to protect you and make sure that that protest was not hijacked by anybody. So the students, it is their right to protest. And as I asked earlier on, legitimate or not, legitimately they have the right to protest, and they must protest. For goodness sake, you can't keep. A few days ago, UNICEF came out with a study and said over 20 million Nigerian children out of school children. And I said that we have more than that. Because if they say 20 million, have they added the university students that are still at home? Are they not out of school? They are out of school. Are they not children? They are children. Because they live with their parents. So we can only but bury our head in the sand like the ostrich and leave our body exposed and pretending that nothing happened. This problem has been here for long. The Minister of Education, instead of solving the problem, is asking Nigerians to beg the students and the parents to go and beg us. Now, the case has been taken to the industrial court. Tomorrow, tomorrow's Friday, the industrial court will be, will be educating on this. And let's see what is going to. Even if the industrial court says that the lecturers should go back to work, if they refuse, what will happen? Because you cannot force an employee, an unwilling employer, or vice versa. If they say, well, all well and good, you cannot force me to work. You can force me. The issue we are saying now is that let the federal government look at those issues that have been raised by the lecturers, by the ASU, based on this. What is a contract? In law, we call a valid contract. A valid contract in law, as we say, is a contract that was signed, sealed, and delivered. Once that three elements is in a contract, then it's valid. You are bound to abide by the terms of that contract. And that is the problem we're having here.
All right, before we move on, let's quickly take Mutar from Kano. Hello, Mutar. Hello, are you there? All right, guess we do not have...
Yes.
All right, he already took us there. The FG has taken ASU to court. Any resolution in sight?
We don't know how it will go. But even, I was here on Monday, and I think I addressed this issue. Even if the FG says, ASU, lecturers if the court says lecturers go back to work, it has not changed the facts of what they are asking for. See, what we are talking about is even beyond ASU strike. We are talking about making the university system virile. That's the issue. Forget about the strike for once. Yes, lecturers improve welfare and all of those. What we are having in our country is that...
Senator, I would like you to please hold your thoughts while we take our caller. Hello, Mutar. Hello?
Hello?
All right, please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
All right, guess we have an issue there.
Hello?
Please go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, are you there?
Contribution to this, my contribution to this program is that, hello? Yes. The federal, hello?
Please go ahead, we can hear you.
Wow.
Yes. You see, the government is insincere to this issue.
All right.
It doesn't want to take the responsibility of promoting education. And I'm telling you, no nation can develop. Hello? No nation can develop without education. And the government is very insincere. And it's a shameful thing in the federal government to deny these kids of their legitimate right to be educated. And Fashola said it's illegal. Is it legal for the federal government to allow these students to stay at home for more than 8 months? Were they treated that way when they were students?
All right, thank you very much, Mutar. Thank you for your contribution. Please.
I think the caller has even expressed my mind. It's about improving the university education. Already, we know that many of our youths, when they go abroad, when they study abroad, they do very well. Nigerians are very intelligent.
Yes, I agree with
But the system does not help them. How do we help the system? How do we help the system? How do we help our lecturers? How do we create an enabling environment for our lecturers to do research? How do we position our universities to solve problems? For example, the solution to terrorism should be coming from the ivory tower. By now, we should be doing researches in counter-terrorism and all of those. How do we position our university to become that way? That is what we should be looking at. So even if of course, what the court will do is the court will only adjudicate based on the facts you bring before it. But it goes beyond that. And I think that is part of what the lecturers are asking for. And I love what this man said. we are saying, the Fashola is saying it is illegal for them to go on strike. Is it legal is it lawful morally? You know, is it okay morally for the federal government to have allowed the strike to linger up to this time?
Sikian, your last take on this?
Well, my last take on this is that I think the government has lost the moral ground to be an educator in this case. They are a party in the case. And when this happens, what people like us, we always advocate that we need a thought force. There must be a thought. It cannot just be between government and us any longer. The way out for me is that this should go into what we call mediation or arbitration. Even though I know that probably arbitration wasn't part of the contract, because for you to go into arbitration, that contract, you must have arbitration as a clause within that, so that if you have any fallout, you can go. But as it is now, I think that we need people, other people, to come in. When I'm talking about arbitrators, it can be professional arbitrators. I am one. I'm not selling myself. But when we're talking of religious leaders, you understand what I mean? Religious leaders, people in government, certain individuals that don't have anything to do with this case to come and educate on this and so that we can move forward.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well said. In a biting economy like ours, increase in prices of goods and services will amount to piling more pressure on hapless citizens. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance on the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework has rejected a proposal by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, for increase in the fee charged for the examination. Appearing before the committee, the Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede, said the board should be allowed to revert to the 5,000 naira fee from the current 3,500 naira. But the deputy chairman of the committee, Saidu Musa Abdullahi, stated that reverting to the 5,000 naira fee would transfer the burden of operations to applicants' parents and guardians. Mr. Paul, is this even desirable, considering the economic realities we are facing in Nigeria at the moment?
First of all, let me commend Professor Oloyede. Since he became the registrar of JAMB, he has done well. JAMB has been able to, make the kind of revenue it never saw during the time of his predecessor. Fine. I also like the idea of positioning JAMB to be financially independent, not to depend on budgetary allocation. But, Prof, I disagree with you, sir, that at this time we should be overburdening the parents. This is not the time. This is not the right time to do that. Maybe in future, when the economy of Nigeria is better. We are talking about a time when people, you'll be surprised, there are people who cannot afford to cough out 1,000 naira. There are people who don't know when the next meal will come. There are very poor parents that will slave and do everything to give their children the kind of education they did not have. There are people that, I was in Abuja recently. I was going with my sister. And then I entered, what's that market called? Wuye Market. Yeah, Wuse Market. And I saw this woman with her son, with a child. Maybe, I can't remember whether it was a son or selling pure water. She did not even have a cooler. She just spread it. So then my sister said, we just had compassion on that woman. And she said, I will come the next day, I will give you cooler. So we looked for the woman the next day. We couldn't get her there. There are people that are as poor as that. Yes. And they will do everything and anything to make sure that their children have a better life. And then the prof is asking that it is approved that they start collecting 5,000 naira. Why do we keep impoverishing people? The truth of the matter is this. Nigerians get poorer all the time. You know why we get poorer? Now, if your income has not increased, let's say you earn 10 naira, okay? And then you bought something for 5 naira yesterday. And then today, you bought that thing for 7 naira. And yet your income has not increased. It means you are poorer. Some people may not feel it immediately, but I'm sure a lot of people feel the impact. How come rise in the cost of things is not commensurate with the level of income? So I think Prof should just perish that thought for now.
Sikian.
Well, he has commended Prof for the giant strides he's making in JAMB. Recently, the last I heard, I think it was about 7.8 billion that was made by JAMB.
Yes.
And don't forget, this was the same. Is it not the same JAMB that we saw snakes swallowing, swallowing Naira and the rest of them? But commendable as it is, JAMB shouldn't and is not a profit-making institution, no matter what. If I have my way, I look forward to a situation in this country where JAMB form will be given out free to students. As you are finishing your SSS and you want to go into examination, you are given free JAMB form to take. This is for government to subsidize education. Nigeria should be. There are several countries in the world where education is free. So many of our leaders today, all of them, you see them in National Assembly everywhere. They went to public schools, free education, especially in the Western region. During the days of Awolowo, during the days of Lateef Jakonde, I said it here the last time I was here, that throughout my secondary school, I am a product of Jakonde school. My parents did not pay a dime all the while when I was in secondary school. I moved to HSC. My parents did not pay a dime. I was fortunate enough in 1986 to get admission into Lagos State University. Throughout my 4 years in Lagos State University, my parents didn't pay a dime. So, for that, that's where we are today. We are here talking, probably reasonably, I believe, and people that went to all the so-called Ivy school are also watching and listening. We can match them talk to talk, action to action, work for work. So, some of us that are here, and most of them that are our leaders today, wouldn't have been where they are today, if not for that free education. So many of them.
Now, let's even assume that Nigerian parents are ready to pay this 5,000 naira. How are we sure this money will be solely administered for examination?
That is what I'm saying. Now, let me even shock you the more. You want to increase this thing. Even the ones that are there, have they graduated? Those that got admission, that are in the university, have they graduated? Some of them have spent 2 years at a point. Before COVID, during COVID, most of the federal and state universities were at home. It was the private universities that were running. Now, after COVID, there was ASU strike that lasted for almost 1 year. After that, we have another one that's lasting almost how many months? About 8 months now. That means they practically lost 2 sessions. In fact, admission, let me also tell you that admission is not going on in most of the federal and state universities in the past 2 years because they have backlog.
How can this go on?
So how can you have, so why do you now, so I personally think that there are certain things that should just, area of education. We are not even meeting our standard, UNICEF standard on budget for education. Same with health. So, Prof, good as we will say, 5,000 after all, there was a time we saw a governor that was saying 500 naira. Some people are having children.
All right, yes, now,
that is not
the board is asking for financial autonomy. What impact will this have on education?
Of course, financial autonomy only reduces the burden of the federal government.
But it increases the burden of the parents.
Yes, no.
Because why are they going to get the money?
Exactly. So this is
why not getting
and
money.
Consider that there are allegations that JAMB is gradually turning into a revenue-generating agency.
It shouldn't be. You know, sometimes when I hear people, they talk about, during this ASU strike, some people started talking about the fact that there are that Nigerian education is already highly subsidized, that if you go to university elsewhere, it's very expensive. But you are talking about countries that give student loans. You understand? They give student loans and they pay later. But we're talking about a country where students are not given loans, where even graduates are not guaranteed employment. You understand what I'm trying to say? Well, you can leave the university or whichever institution you attended, you can leave it. And then for years, 6, 7, there are people that are 30, 35 that are still feeding on their parents.
Of course.
Time was in this country when, if you were a graduate, you were already guaranteed that you'll be in the middle class. I mean, for being a graduate,
you'll be given a car.
Exactly.
Some of them had cars. You made they left university, they gave them cars. All those 504 in those days, 504 B2. They had them, they were giving them free.
The middle class was guaranteed for you. But now you can be poor as a student, very poor as a student, and as a professional, you can be poorer than the church rats. In fact, people are not even fascinated by education. And what is happening now, it's even going to be discouraging people from seeking education, formal education. I am almost sure that there are students that will not return to school, even after when the strike is over, because they are discouraged. This is not the time we should be overburdening people. This is the time we should make life easier for people. Why does Nigeria like inflicting pain on our citizens? People are not asking for too much. They're not asking for too much. They just want to have a roof over their head. They want to send their children to school. They want to eat. Is that too much to ask? So this is not the time for our prof. A good man. I love him, honestly. For me, he has performed better than what's the name of Dibu or Jenny. He has performed better. Is it Dibu or Jenny? What's the name of the former man? Yeah, I think. Am I correct? Right. Okay. And now he should not just stain his records.
All right, Secure. Your take on this financial autonomy?
Financial autonomy, I've said it in government, in sectors like education, must be highly subsidized, whether I would like it or not. When you're asking for financial autonomy, what that means is that you probably won't get budgetary allocation.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Hello, Prince Enahoro. Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
I'm not taking you guys back. I want to make a little contribution on the issue on the strike. Hello?
Please go ahead.
Right.
Hello, can you hear me? What is like this government, they are not interested in knowledge. They are not interested in education. What do you expect when the number one citizen in this country, his qualification have been an issue since the...
All right, guess we lost it there. Thank you very much, Prince. All right, please go ahead.
Yes, I was saying that would mean zero allocation to the establishments. That means you won't get budgetary allocation. What that means also is that now everything will be autonomous. You raise your own funds, you fund your activities and the rest of them, pay salaries and the rest of them. Where is that money going to come from? It's going to be from the students that are going to pay, which is probably why he's asking that we should raise it from 3,500, it is currently, back to 5,000, so that they can be able to. I don't think that is necessary. Okay? Government, as a matter of policy, should be funding education. Institutions like JAMB, WAEC, NECO, whatever we call them, should be assisted financially so that the burdens can be. Let me even ask lastly, what do we enjoy for the government? This government, our federal government, what do we as a citizen enjoy for the federal government? And that's the question. And we are paying taxes. In other climes, why people pay taxes? Because they see what the government do with the taxes. If you pay tax, you make sure that the road is there, water is there. But every one of us now, we're local government to ourselves. You provide your security, you provide your water, you provide your generation, your light. Even if possible, they will say, contribute. If the transformer in your area blows now, what happens? They will ask us to contribute. We're local government, and that is what happens.
All right, finally, guys, as JAMB served its purpose, because, of course, when students are about to enter tertiary institutions, they still write entrance examination. So a lot of people are saying, what's the point?
Well, there's a whole lot of issues with that thing. If you ask me, I prefer the old system without JAMB. I think what I personally prefer is that each school should set its standards. Now, let's be very clear about it. Schools that are elsewhere, there are Ivy League schools. There are schools that are not on that level. You know, there are schools that are very, very good for people from the educationally less developed states or people who.
All right.
But I think that's a matter of policy. For now, we have JAMB.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now let's quickly take a break, and when we come back, we still have more discussions. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. You have yourself a house.
Well, thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady. Yes, our differences extend to our languages, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria a hub of greatness, a place where the people live as one.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
Hello, it's nice to see you again. It's a good day at First Fountain Court. You know we love sharing our progress with you and taking you every step of the way. The last time we were here, electricals, POPs were ongoing, and today a whole new level has been unlocked, and we are very excited because we are currently painting our homes, tidying our homes, and if you look right there is the utility home, fresh water, clean water, and at the top of this is a gym house. We are really excited, and if you haven't subscribed to First Fountain Home, now is the time. Call the numbers on your screen or visit our website.
The federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, announces the availability of COVID-19 and childhood vaccines nationwide. With the disturbing increase in reported cases of COVID-19 infections across Nigeria, protect yourself and loved ones from the harmful virus by getting vaccinated. Visit the nearest public or private health facility and mass vaccination sites today to receive the first, second, or booster doses of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are given to persons 18 years and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, while childhood vaccines are given to children from birth to 5 years for protection against polio, hepatitis, yellow fever, measles, meningitis, and other vaccines-preventable diseases. All vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122.
This message is from NPHCDA in partnership with the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout, and I've been hanging out with Paul Dada and Chris Kende Nwandu. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for staying with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. A different voice, but same message regarding the crisis rocking opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP. At the PDP's Southwest meeting with its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, demanded resignation of the national chairman of the party, Iyorchia Ayu. Governor Makinde said if the PDP wants to unify Nigeria, they must unify the PDP first. Let's share the story of the meeting with you.
It's less than 6 months to the 2023 general elections, and politicians across political parties are working towards resolving their differences in order to approach the elections as a united body. But for some months now, the People's Democratic Party is faced with internal crisis, as a camp loyal to the Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, is demanding for the resignation of the party's chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, in order to enable a replacement from the southern part of Nigeria.
Included in the top hierarchy.
Speaking at the Southwest Stakeholders meeting held in Ibadan, the Oyo State Governor said he wants the National Working Committee of the party restructured through the resignation of the national chairman of the party.
By asking the national chairman to step down so that the PDP in the southern part of the country will be included in the top hierarchy of PDP.
In his response, the People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, gave reasons why the party chairman cannot be removed at this time. He stated that the removal of the party's chairman can only be done according to the constitution of the party.
I have no problem from wherever any member of the party comes from, but it must be done in accordance with our constitution, our regulations, and our practices. Therefore, what Governor Sheyi is calling for is achievable under our constitution.
It is a time for us to select the appropriate medication for Nigeria because Nigeria is sick.
And I'm sure you know the economic policies that they drove together with his boss that brought about prosperity for Nigeria. That is what we are going to witness by the grace of God under his leadership.
Groups in the party to share their swords and give room for peace to reign. Olaido Yowole, TVC News, Ibadan.
All right, there you have it. Governor Shemakinde also demanding for Ayu's removal. Now, gentlemen, is this a case of Esau's hand or Jacob's voice?
Well, for me, Governor Makinde spoke truth to power yesterday, irrespective of whose horse is God. For Governor Makinde, it's obvious, you know, where he stands. He has not shaken, and he has remained consistent with his right-hand man, Socio-economic, and his twin brother, Ikpeazu. But the truth of the matter is that the question we should ask is that what they are asking for, is it right or is it wrong? And the fact remains that within the party constitution, as they had, all of them are brand, it has been this gentleman agreement right from 1999 that once you have a chairman from the north, the presidential candidate must come from the south. And this is where they find themselves now. And they are saying that just let's change this so that we can move forward. And some people are dancing around it. But the paradox for me there is, I will ask, is it more like a payback time for someone like Governor Socio-economic? Remember vividly, we have a PDP national chairman before this. Uche Secondus is from Rivers State. It's the same Governor Wike that was so consistent and feeling that made sure that Uche Secondus was removed. That is Star Man. He's from the same state with him. I believe that he miscalculated. For me, personally, I've been wrong. He felt that Secondus being the chairman of PDP was going to rob him the presidential ticket. And that was why, I'm telling you, people should look at this from, I'm talking as a student of politics. You may not know it. These politicians, they think faster than you. Why we are thinking, yes, some of them are already thinking of what is going to happen in 3 years' time. And that is, to me, is the problem. So, at the end of it all, what happened? It was Socio-economic, governor of Governor Tom, and some of them that brought about Ayu. They were the one that was like, don't forget that there were so many other candidates that are going for that national position. They were the one that side, they pushed and pushed for Ayu. Ayu has been elected. Now, he didn't get what he wanted. He wanted the president. He thought he was saying it before that it's him or no other person. I remember when he went to Anambra State, that the kind of things he said. And it was part of those positions that made someone like Peter Obi, who is now making some kind of this thing, to leave PDP. To leave the party. Yes. Now, the chicken has come home to roost. Whether PDP like it or not, you have to assuage the people that are agitating, especially those of, it wasn't Makinde that spoke yesterday, it was the Southwest. And the other part of the question you want to ask yourself, I think we was talking about constitution, which is more viable and which is more important to you? Having certain Southerners voting for you, or having someone like Ayu, who is the chairman, current chairman of the party? All right.
For you, Mr. Dada, how possible is this resignation, considering that the PDP NEC just passed the vote of confidence on Ayu?
I think PDP is not serious. PDP is like a man who takes a gun and begins to shoot his own foot. You know, I'm wondering, is this the same PDP which former national chairman Vincent Ogbulafo boasted that will rule for 60 years. In 2008, as of 2008, PDP was controlling 28 states. In fact, before Ogbulafo became chairman, PDP was controlling 21 states. It increased to 28 states. PDP also increased its representation in the National Assembly. Is it the same PDP? The same PDP that boasted that it was the biggest political party in Africa. This PDP has not even learnt a lesson from what happened when it became fractious, and then you had the NPDP, moving out. Now, the PDP has bungled the opportunity to become a formidable opposition party. Unlike the APC, where PDP was holding sway, the havoc, so to say, that Lai Mohammed caused, for that party. Now, it is not a formidable opposition party, and it is not even positioning itself to wrest power from APC. Now, let's look at it this way. Yeah, Wike may have always had his way, but you have your way when you are at a position of strength. Wike is at a position of strength, and I'll tell you why. Now, PDP, as things stand now, has lost the Southeast. Because the Southeast is largely obedience. The Southeast used to follow PDP mostly. But now, the Southeast is obedience. Wike is the strongest PDP man in the South-South. This is a man who has given all to the party. This is a man that stood with the party even when people like Atiku were jumping from one party to another. There was no time that Wike ever abandoned that party. Now, Wike is not even saying, give me the president. It's no more saying that. He lost it, fine. Even if he thinks it was betrayal. Even if he thinks it was betrayal, he lost it. He's now saying that it does not make sense. And that's what Sheyi Makinde also saying, that it does not make sense for, in the tradition of our party, what has always been since 1999, that it's been the tradition of our party that the presidential candidate or the president and the chairman cannot come from the same region. This same Dr. Yoshahayu said that if a northerner should become the chairman, I would resign. You see, I think all of this, I don't even see PDP coming second in this election.
The presidential candidate of the party has said that Ayu's removal is possible only when the constitution of the party is amended.
Is it cast on stone? Is that constitution cast on stone? Let me tell you, I know where Atiku is coming from. By the constitution of PDP, and I believe most other political parties, APC and the rest of them, if you remove a national chairman like that, the next person to take over from him is going to come from that same geopolitical zone. That is what their constitution says. It didn't say that remove him and put another person, except you go to a convention. It has happened before. Remember what also happened, even within APC. I remember when, at a point that the APC was having issue, up to the point where late Ajimobi had to, you remember, where he had to come in as an interim national chairman. That is what happened. But that does not necessarily mean that they cannot work out this. But let me tell you the problem here. Even within the PDP itself, and all those agitating, the issue is that, let me take someone like Governor Makinde, for example. He's coming for a second term and he's a PDP governor. If he comes to the election, he doesn't back his presidential candidate, that means you go to tell his people to vote for another person. Then the same people are going to vote for another president, we want to vote for a PDP governor. Right. It has happened before, and they failed woefully. Just quickly. It's happened when, you remember in 1999, the Southwest did not vote for OBJ. In 2003, they decided, oh, let us back our own. Where Eddie came in, Eddie said, we'll vote for PDP presidential candidate who was Obasanjo, then AD governors. At the end of it all, they lost that election. They lost all the states to PDP. So that is why they should be very, very careful.
All right, gentlemen, we need to take another quick break, and we will be back with more discussions. Please stay with us.
For more than 20 years, Betty, the Lagos Economic Summit, has contributed to the socio-economic and infrastructural development in Lagos State back to back. Some of the ideas from the previous Betty are what we now point to as the attractions of Lagos to the world. Here is another opportunity to discuss the advancement agenda of Lagos. Betty, the private sector-led participatory forum and incubating ground for the ideas that define Lagos, is holding from October 11th to 12th, 2022. Are you a business leader, a professional, an entrepreneur, an academic, a techie, or in any other category with Lagos on your mind? Register at www.enyigbettisummit.com to attend the summit holding at Eko Hotels and Suites, or to join Enyigbeti 2022 Summit online. Come forward with your thoughts. Let's set an implementable agenda for a greater Lagos.
Hello, it's nice to see you again. It's a good day at First Fountain Court. You know we love sharing our progress with you and taking you every step of the way. The last time we were here, electricals, POPs were ongoing, and today a whole new level has been unlocked, and we are very excited because we are currently painting our homes, tiling our homes, and if you look right there is the utility home, fresh water, clean water, and at the top of this is a gym house. We are really excited, and if you haven't subscribed to First Fountain Home, now is the time. Call the numbers on your screen or visit our website.
All right, welcome back. I still have Paul Dada and Chris Kende Uwande with me in the studio. About 2 years after the NSAS debacle that befell Nigeria, we are still grappling with its aftermath. The Abuja NSAS panel probing allegations of human rights violations committed by the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, and other units of the Nigeria Police has awarded 289 million naira to 74 victims of violations. At a ceremony in Abuja where families of deceased victims and survivors received checks, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Anthony Ojukwu, said government has acknowledged its mistakes and now ready to search the feelings of victims. Gentlemen, you would agree that this compensation is nothing compared to the loss of lives. But how far can this go?
Well, I'm glad you said that it cannot compensate for the loss of lives. But I think it is the best that can be done in this situation, apart from prosecuting and making sure that the policemen who are found culpable, or SARS men who perpetrated the terror, are actually brought to book.
Justice.
But then, I think beyond all of this, we should see a way of repositioning and reforming our police. It's not only SARS. There are so many policemen out there, even as we speak, who are still terrorists, so to say. Now, you know, after the NSAS riot, it was like, okay, the police was cowed a bit. But we've seen policemen misbehave. Thank God they are disgracing them now. You know, those that misbehave, they disgrace them in the public. But all of these are just, for me, they are just like palliative measures. It's just like you are patching. There needs to be a total reformation of the police. For example, stop, even the name, the force in the name should be replaced with service. But yes, because it's not supposed to be a force. That force may have a way of psychologically affecting them. Now, they should be taught that the gun they hold in their hands is for the protection of the citizens, not for unleashing terror. They should also be told that their uniform is not a leeway for them to extort people. You know, some of us have had experience with the police. I remember not too long ago, a relative of mine was missing, and I went to one of the police stations. One of the first things they told us was that we should drop our phones outside, as if we're going to see a governor, you know, where you have to drop your phone. And then what do you call the person at the counter? Is it CRO they call? Money. She was asking for money. We were trying to report a missing person. And then when an IPO was appointed, the IPO was asked, we don't have money for fire. We need money for fire. We need money for signal. We need money for this. I was the one that had to transport her, you know, to the place where she would make investigate, all sorts of things. This is not the kind of police we are proud of. So beyond compensating people, no matter how much you compensate people, those who are dead are dead. And I am sure there are people who have not recovered from the trauma of the loss of their loved ones. Are you going to bring the man, the husband of the widow, who is the man who is dead? Are you going to bring him back? Are you going to bring back his? What about those ones that were in school, whose lives were cut short by the police, by trigger-happy policemen? Seriously, we need to reform the police in this country. We need to reform the police in this country. But it seems to me that when people wear black uniform, they become monsters.
All right, Sikian, how do you think this will help deepen respect for human rights in Nigeria?
It will go a long way. I'm so happy that some of these people are being compensated. We saw the recommendation of the pro panel that happened in Lagos and the recommendations. My fear is that most of those recommendations, have they been implemented? I've not heard anything since that one. I'm talking of that of Lagos. Good enough is happening in Abuja and some compensation. What of other states too? Because NSAS was not a Lagos-Abuja affair. The other pro panels within the state have they done the needful? NSAS wasn't about just police.
Brutality.
We should get that clear. NSAS wasn't about police. We just needed that police issue to trigger something in Nigeria that has been boiling over. Even though that we are fighting for NSAS, we are also fighting for the benefits, for the welfare of the policemen too. That it wasn't like they were saying that improve this. And I think we, in as much as we know that our police has not been what we wanted it to be, we should also cut them some slacks, for goodness sake, sincerely. Yes. Ask for budgetary allocation to Nigerian police. Go and look at where they are living. It's very close. We are very close. Go to Ikeja here, just by under that bridge, opposite Lasut. Go and see where they are living.
All right, so is there a law that says they cannot demand for more?
They can demand for more if they are not giving. Go and check the budgetary allocation of police compared to other security agencies, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the rest of it. And also know that by the provision of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, it is the primary responsibility of the Nigerian police to take care of domestic, internal security. It's not that of the Army. Yes, most people don't know that. Yeah. It's because of the issues we're having now with terrorism and the rest of that. That is why we are bringing Army from their primary responsibilities. So I think that we should be talking about issue of welfare, training, and making sure that the police, is it only with trying to be athletes. Let me, because in US, the US police keep people. You forgot what happened. Black Lives Matters.
Lives Matter.
You remember vividly. I think that what we should be canvassing now for the Nigerian police, although there have been an improvement. In fact, a few days ago, the IG remember that nobody should pay money for bail. Anybody that pay for bail,
well, they've been saying that for long.
In as much as there was somebody that was arrested for a civil offense in this Lagos, and I, CKN, I went to bail the person. They did not allow me to bail the person until I pay 50,000 naira. I can take that up with anybody. Anybody that says a lie, I will take the person to the police. So what am I saying? But tomorrow, you see when you see what these guys are going to, DPO does not have. If you see what they allocate to a station for fuel in a day, that's what we are talking about. I pay for this. They don't have the allocation. and they have to do their job. But the question you ask yourself, is it the citizens that are supposed to pay for it? Because we are already paying tax, which they are using supposed to use to support. What we should be asking for is that federal government should do the needful. Okay. Let them try as much as possible and make sure the allocation to the police. The PCC chairman just resigned 2 days ago.
All right, we have Hassan from Kaduna. Hello, Hassan. Good evening, Hassan. All right. Hello, Hassan, are you there? All right, gentlemen. Looking at all these issues you have raised, and it's sad that 2 years later...
Hello, good afternoon,
all right,
gentlemen.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to contribute on the issue of ASU and the strike.
All right. Please go ahead, Hassan.
You know, most of our leaders benefited. One of the gentlemen, most of the leaders benefited from free education. And education, once you are educated, I think you have solved 90% of your problem. An educated mind is an enlightened mind. The elites know that once they give the citizens education, they will not have a way to manipulate us. That's why they are doing what they are doing.
Right.
Because with education, you cannot be manipulated easily.
Thank you. Now, before the caller came in, we were talking about so many issues in the Nigerian force, and it's sad that 2 years after, we still have overzealous police officers out there. Yeah. How do we ensure sanity in that system?
The police, the police system, you mean? We need to start from the training, the recruitment. Who are the kind of people we are recruiting? We need to probably visit the requirements, you know, the conditions for joining the force. Apart from that, he spoke so much about the welfare of the police, and I agree with him. Honestly, I agree with everything he said. You know, the police is not even. You go to some of the when I went to the headquarters, you see files, dirty files, and all of that. You know, police cannot fuel their vehicles. Sometimes also, in fact, some of these policemen even buy their uniform.
They do now.
You understand? They buy their shoes and all of that. Now, those people now, what they will do is, since they are affected, they cannot, what they do is, the tendency is there for them to now unleash terror on the man who does not hold a gun. You understand? So we need to reform the police holistically. And this conflict between Police Service Commission and the Nigeria Police Force should be resolved. Look at just the issue of the recruitment of constables. There's a kind of ego battle.
Mr. Chris, your last take before we go.
Yeah, I totally agree with him. And what we should do to get the best, we have to aim for the best. We have to make the police force very attractive. Gone are the days, in those days, when everybody wants to be part of it. I remember when I was leaving secondary school, my father always wanted me to be a policeman. Because of that one star, ASP. I want to make it, people that will see joining the police now, people that have nothing doing. Because they look at it as a last means to be able to make ends meet. That is why they are not willing to go into it, because they wanted to be police. So if they make it attractive in both their welfare and every necessary thing, then you will get the best. Then also their training too. I totally agree with him. That is where to go. But let us cut these guys some slack. So they are having serious issues. We as citizens and government have not addressed.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Paul Dadan. Thank you, Chris Kende, one of coming up. Thank you for your contribution. And thank you very much for watching. That's all on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeats broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangouts on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.